This here is the original script of Harvester from 1994. The game raises many questions, but doesn't give all the answers. This here gives all of them. It also proves that every single detail in the game has a meaning, and the script is a work of a genius.
Welcome to the Harvester Show, Initiate.
Like I told you guys in the previous episode of the Harvester Show, there are over 100 pages here.
Stop, Arno.
Oh, Sergeant at Arms. We meet again.
Didn't you forget something?
I've heard that before. Let me guess, was that something important?
Yes, something very important.
Then you must mean the spinal cord. Take a look at this. An awesome handmade copy of a spinal cord. That's the invitation to the lodge in the game.
My God. Is that what I think it is?
It still has the right eye, just like in the game. Behind the skull there's Harvester sign and a nice amount of blood. A fan made this to me as a present. Can you believe it?
He did a damn good job.
Amazing job. And check out the bottom of this. To Arno Malin from Tyler Moulton. But whose spinal cord is this? Stephanie's?
I can see a resemblance, but I can't be sure.
And where there's a spinal cord, there's also the invitation card. I suggest you pause the video and read the full text. It warms even the heart of an old serial killer. Tyler shipped me this all the way from Los Angeles to Finland. Tyler, you are a great artist and a wonderfully twisted person. You are also a VIP member of the lodge. Thank you, Tyler. Harvester is the weirdest and the most fucked up game ever. People who dislike Harvester often say that the game desperately tries to be as sick and shocking as possible to get the attention, and that's all it has to offer. It's sad those people can't see beneath the surface. You see, all the weirdness and fucked upness is designed to serve one certain purpose: to turn our hero Steve into a serial killer. The end of the game reveals that the player character Steve has actually been in virtual reality, which is programmed to create serial killers. Now, how can you turn an ordinary youngster into a serial killer? Well, at first you have to erase his memory.
So that's my name. Steve.
Without identity, the world he confronts defines the way he'll think and feel in the future. If he learns right away that the world is a dark place with worthless people, then we have a potential serial killer. In the script, Gil Austin sums this all up on page 18. You can find the link to the page under this video. The page really gives depth to the whole game, so I recommend you to read it. And read it with a thought.
Read it. That's an order.
Let's take a look at Steve's mom, for example. She's always in her perfectly clean kitchen, baking cookies for the PTA's bake sale, with a smile on her face. Mom of the year, right? But why is she throwing all the cookies into trash can, just to bake more? Day after day.
Well, hello there. How about some cookies? There's plenty of rejects in the trash.
Well, maybe she's a bit special, but at least she's a caring mom who loves her family, right? Wrong. There's something very sinister behind that warm housewife look. Mom also has a pretty hardcore way to express her love towards Steve's dad.
Steve, is that you? Come to see your poor old dad?
Mom has locked Dad in a bedroom and loved him so much that he can't get off the bed.
Well, you always were a kidder, Steve. Just don't make me laugh now. Remember the stitches.
You can tell Mom is really into S&M sex. Dad is not so much.
She doesn't know you're here, does she? Does she?
Steve has to sneak through the window to see his dad because Mom doesn't let anyone see him.
Marv, what's going on in there?
Now what does Steve learn here about family? Yep. If your parents would be like this, there's a big chance you would be a serial killer. One more thing about Mom. There are hidden keywords on Harvester, and the most notorious of them is the one you can say to your mother. Fuck.
What a thing to say to your mother. Was that an invitation now that your father is out of action? Maybe later, dear. Right now I have housework to do. Though you can watch if you want.
In the script, Gil Austin describes what kind of conversations the player can have with the townspeople. There are 3 pages about Mom, and on the 3rd page, the last subheading is hidden keywords. There it is. Fuck. Although Mom's reaction is different in the script. According to the script, Mom should take off her clothes and cook in underwear. Interesting. But the most interesting thing is that in the script there's another hidden keyword. Dominatrix. I didn't know there's another hidden keyword, and I'm sure no one did. So what's Mom's reaction when you'll type dominatrix? The script doesn't tell, so let's try out.
I don't even know what that word means. Ask your father if you don't believe me.
I've played Harvester 20 years, and still I can find new things.
Wow, that was neat.
Let's move on from Steve's mother to other kind of monsters. The first time I played Harvester through, I was surprised about the amount of monsters in the lodge. Through the game you've been dealing only with human beings, but suddenly, when you enter the lodge, there are all kinds of strange looking creatures attacking you, especially in the first level of the lodge. In the second level of the lodge there are less monsters and more people, and in the third level there are mainly people. What's the point of all this? Why so many monsters? Well, on the page 30 of the script, Gil Austin explains the reason for all this, and the explanation is actually really clever, as usual. You see, in the town of Harvest you complete many puzzles to prove your ability and willing to break the law. After that you enter the lodge to learn how to kill. At first, to ease you into killing, the creatures you fight will be unhuman and grotesque and very hostile. They are things you can easily justify killing. Once you've gotten used to that, the lodge makes you kill human beings. There's only one word to describe all this.
Logical.
Enough monsters, let's talk about Mr. Pastorelli. In the game Mr. Pastorelli, the owner of the barber shop, is mute. He just sweeps the floor and doesn't say a word. In the second episode of the Harvester show I told you guys that there are 5 character portraits of Mr. Pastorelli hidden in the game files, and I assumed he was supposed to speak. And yeah, the script proves I was right. But the strange thing is that Mr. Pastorelli was supposed to speak Italian. On the page 12, Gil Austin writes about Mr. Pastorelli that he is a jovial Italian who only speaks Italian. In his foreign tongue, he will warn you that Harvest is a twisted town. This is another strange thing in Mr. Pastorelli. He is not just some programmed character in virtual reality, but a person who has his own will and who knows why Steve is there. Although Mr. Pastorelli was supposed to speak Italian, in the script all his lines are in English. Let's take a look at the pages 64 and 65. Mr. Pastorelli has lines like, "There are no happy endings in Harvest," "Altruism will not help you survive Harvest," and "Perhaps you will prove worthy after all." About the barber pole he says that it was made by a glassmaker in the old country before I was placed in this hell. So here Mr. Pastorelli hints that he has a past in the real world and he is trapped in Harvest against his own will. Mr. Pastorelli was supposed to be a really exceptional character. Then why did they give up his whole backstory and made him mute? I think the main reason for that is this. Mr. Pastorelli would have revealed too much about the ending twist to all the players who understand Italian, and all the other players would have been pissed because they don't understand a word he says. I'll release the pages 12, 64 and 65 on Harvester fanpage on Facebook. You can find the link to the pages under this video. Mr. Pastorelli has a dead stuffed sheep in the barbershop. It's there because he has a history as a shepherd in Italy. According to the script, the sheep was supposed to be alive and wandering through the barbershop and mocking Mr. Pastorelli. Yeah, it says here, the sheep taunts him, it mocks him. Poor Italian. I wonder what kind of voice Mr. Pastorelli was supposed to have.
I understand.
Mr. Pastorelli? Is that your real voice?
You don't ask with respect.
What do you mean?
What have I ever done to make you treat me so disrespectfully?
I didn't mean to be disrespectful. I was just having fun. Come on, I'm your friend.
You don't offer friendship. You don't even think to call me Godfather.
Because you are not Godfather. You are a barber who gets mocked by a sheep. Jeez, no wonder they made you mute. The sheep is laughing at you, and I understand why.
Let's be frank, you never wanted my friendship.
Yes, I did, but not anymore. Let's talk about someone more sane and balanced. Like Mr. Potsdam. In Harvest, Mr. Potsdam is friendly, but when you meet him in the lodge, he is very hostile and he attacks you. There's one very interesting detail in Mr. Potsdam when he is in the lodge. His trousers. Take a look at them. The man moves, but the trousers stay still. It's like they've been drawn afterwards. Same thing here. The trousers really are drawn afterwards. What the hell? Was he naked? Actually, yes. He was naked. It says here in the script that you find Mr. Potsdam, Stephanie's father, naked in a meat locker. So they filmed Mr. Potsdam without any clothes, but afterwards they decided to draw him a pair of trousers. They censored their own game. And I think that's a good thing. I can take blood and gore and kids eating their mom, but Mr. Potsdam naked? Thank God the game is not that sick.
You always were a kidder, Arno.
Well, we are all having fun here, so it's a good time to end the video. But before that, I would like to remind you, gently and lovingly, of a self-evident fact for which I will not be blamed. You can't watch the Harvester show without becoming a harvester. Think about that.
You don't call me Godfather.
Go sweep your floor, Godfather.